Hello, Algebra 1. Welcome to LFEI5, point slope form. What we're looking for is point slope linear form here. So we're talking about linear equations once again, or linear functions. We've done point slope form. I'm sorry, we've done slope intercept form. Now we're going to do what's called point slope form. Point slope form is a little bit different. When we did slope intercept form, the two things needed were a slope and an intercept. And now we're doing point slope form. So the two things you're probably going to need are a point and a slope. So let's see how this thing works, okay? How we came up with how point slope form was derived was just rearranging the slope formula. We have m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Let's say you had a point and a slope. We could plug that in instead, and we could do some rearranging. Okay, and if we did some rearranging, what's going to happen is we're going to end up with this equation right here. If you just star this, do what you got to do. This is the big deal here. If you have a slope and a point that's on a line, you can write this in the form of y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And what that means is all you need to replace is y1, m, and x1 when you write the end product that you're trying to do, when you're trying to write that equation. What does that look like? Well, let's take a look at a couple examples here. It says slope is 3.5 and negative 3 comma 2 is on the line. We have our slope, we have our x and our y, or x1, y1, and all you do is plug that in. M is now 3.5, x1 is negative 3, plug that in here. Y1 is 2, plug that in here, and you simplify. Don't do anything past that. That is point slope form. That's it. Okay, let's look at another example. It says slope is 0 and negative 2, negative 1 is on the line. This is our m. This is our x1, y1. So y minus y1, y minus negative 1 equals m, which is 0, times x minus negative 2. Now, we could rewrite this as 0 times x plus 2, but we don't need to, right? Minus a negative is plus a positive. It's y plus 1 equals 0. We could say 0 times x plus 2, but you don't need to on that. Okay, here's your job. You've been given a slope, you've been given a point on the line. Pause it, try it, come back and check your answers. All right, so we're back. Again, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That is point slope form. We have a slope and a point. We just plug those in. Don't do anything. Don't do anything else after that. We have our slope and our point. We plug that in. Y minus 2 equals 6 times x minus 1 for number 3. And for number 4, we have y minus 1 equals 1/3 times x plus 3 in parentheses. That's it. You don't need to go past that. That is an acceptable way in point slope form to write things. Okay. So what do we do when we're trying to create models? We've got Paul wants to place an ad in a newspaper. They charge $10 for the first 2 lines of text and $3 for each additional line of text. Paul's ad is 8 lines long. How much will the ad cost? Let's let X represent the number of lines of text. Y is going to be the dollars. So 2 lines cost $10. So we've got a point on the line. The rate of change in the cost, we've got $3 per line. So our slope is 3. We have our point. We have our slope. Plug it in, get our point slope form first. We have y minus 10 equals 3 times x minus 2. And now we're trying to find out, he's got an 8-line long ad. So when x is 8, what is y? Because y is cost. We plug 8 in, we simplify and solve. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. We add 10 to both sides. Y is 28. Great. What does that mean? In other words, the cost to run 8 lines is $28. Okay. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Let's go through another one. Here. Paul would like to shop for the best price to place the ad. A different newspaper, that's that thing that unfolds and you read it, it's printed. Anyway, a different newspaper has a base cost of $15 for 3 lines and $2 for every extra line. Well, X is still lines, so 3 lines cost $15 and it's $2 per line. We have our point, we have our slope. Y minus 15 equals M, which is 2, times X minus 3. Okay. Now we have what X is. He's still trying to do this 8-line add, still trying to do this 8-line add here. So Y minus 15 equals 2 times 8 minus 3. If we simplify this, 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. We add 15 to both sides and we get 25. So for this newspaper, the cost of 8 lines is $25. Okay. Again, it seems like, is that all, Mr. Brayman? Yeah, that's all we're looking to do. That's all we're looking to do. What I'm looking for you to do though right now, number 6, try your turn, come back and check your work. Okay, this one is a tiny bit goofy. I totally agree with that. But let's see what we do know. We're going to go back with X being months and Y being cost. So here's what I've got. So Daisy purchases the gym membership. She pays a sign-up fee and a monthly fee of $11. After 4 months, she has paid a total of $59. We also have a monthly fee, $11 per month. Oh, hey, that sounds a lot like a slope. So that's why our M is $11 per month. We have at 4 months, $59 is the cost. We're trying to find out the initial fee. In other words, when X is 0. So what we're going to do, I know it's kind of goofy, the sign up fee, right? At 0 months, what's our fee? We plug 0 in for Y, or for X for 0 months, and then we solve for Y. We end up Y being 15. So, sorry, the sign up fee is $15 once we've solved for all that. At 0 months, we have a $15 cost. That's our sign up fee. Okay. Here's the next thing that we have to do. What if I was given 2 points? Well, I'm trying to find point, slope, form, but I'm given 2 points. Do we know how to find slope? We sure do. And then here's the beauty of it. You pick whatever point you want because they both end up being the same thing. Here you go. 2, 1, and 3, 4 are on the line. Okay, we're gonna do the slope formula in here. We're gonna do the slope. We'll call this x1, y1, and x2, y2, 2, m equals, oh, here it's down here, 4 minus 1 divided by 3 minus 2. Our slope is 3. And then you can pick either point to plug in. Remember, you start with point, slope, form, and you replace just y1, m, and x1. So if you went with 2, 1 as your point, you'd have y minus 1 equals 3 times x minus 2. Or if you use 3, 4 as your point, you'd have y minus 4 equals 3 times x minus 3. It's okay. Again, you can back this up if you need to and watch it. Let's take another look. One more example here. We've got 1, 3 and 2, 3 on the line. Well, first we got to find the slope. So I'm going to call this one x1, y1, and this x2, y2. So m equals 3 minus 3 divided by 2 minus 1. Well, this ends up being 0 because 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 divided by 1 is 0. And then it doesn't matter which point you pick. For this one, I'm going to do, we've got 0 for m. We'll put that in both spots there. Point 1 was 1, 3. So y minus 3 equals 0 times x minus 1. Or you could have the 2, 3. Y minus 3 equals 0 times x minus 2. I promise you that's all we're looking for. I promise you that's all we're looking for. We need to find the point. We need to find the slope. We plug them into the right spots and we're good to go. Okay. You know what's coming next. You know what's coming next. Go ahead, try out your turn, numbers 8 and 9. Come back and see how you did. All righty. just kind of a reminder, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That is our point slope form, with y1 m and x1 being the things that we are going to change or put things into. For numbers 8 and 9, we found the slope first. Number 8, the slope is -3. Number 9, the slope is 0. And then we just, either point. You don't have to do both points. I just put them in there because I didn't know which one you were going to pick. So I just put both of them on there. So go ahead and check your work. You can pause real quick if you need to check your work. That's all right. And let's go and see how we're going to use this one. All right, so we're going to talk about how to apply this now, okay? Creating a linear model given 2 points. Now we've got 2 points here. We've got to solve the problem using an equation in point slope form. In other words, we have to start by getting an equation in point slope form. So let's take a look here. An animal shelter asks all volunteers to take a training session and then volunteer for 1 shift each week. Each shift is the same number of hours. The table shows the number of hours Joan and her friend Miguel worked over several weeks. Another friend, Lily, plans to volunteer for 24 weeks over the next year. How many hours will Lily volunteer? We don't have slope, but we've got a couple points, which means we can find slope, right? I'm going to treat X as the number of weeks worked and Y as the number of hours worked. And so let's go ahead and figure this out. My slope, I'm going to, again, this is like 6, 15, and this is like 10, 23 as my X and Y values. So my slope is 23 minus 15 divided by 10 minus 6. This is 8 divided by 4, which is 2. In other words, 2 hours per week is what they need to volunteer for. And so now we're going to apply this. We're going to take, it doesn't matter which one we choose, which point we choose, but we're going to create a point slope form equation for us. In other words, we've got, I'm going to use 6, 15. You could use 10, 23, it'd come out the same way. Y minus 15 equals 2, because that's our slope, times X minus 6. This is our equation. This is our big step 1. Now we need to figure out how many hours will Lily volunteer if she does 24 weeks. Weeks was in the X column. So we're going to take X weeks and put 24 in for X. So Y minus 15 equals 2 times 24 minus 6. Well, 24 minus 6 is 18. 18 times 2 is 36. So I have Y minus 15 equals 36. Add 15 to both sides, and Y is 51. 51 what? So over 24 weeks, Lily will work 51. Wow. Work 51 hours. That's our part 2, right? Our description. First thing we did was found our slope because we were given 2 points, right? And we can go through this. Let's look to see what they did. What they did is the same thing. So we formulated this plan, right? We had Joan work for 6 weeks and 15 hours. Miguel was 10 and 23. And we're trying to figure out Lily for 24 weeks. In other words, we had 2 points. We found our slope. We found that to be 2. Okay. And then we plugged it in. You can, again, the reason it says or here, you could use either point to describe your function. Right? We've plugged everything in. Nope, not 87, 51 hours. 51 hours. All right. Here is your job. Here is your job. We're going to solve the problem using an equation in point slope form. So you've got 2 your turns to give a shot. Go ahead, give them a shot, and we will come back and talk about them shortly. All right, let's go ahead and check our work here. We've got 2 points. We've got X as our gallons, Y as our cost. We find a slope, so 49 minus 10 divided by 18 minus 5. Our slope is 3, or $3 per gallon. We plug either point in. I did them both here, but then I only used the top one. So Y minus 10 equals 3 times X minus 5. We're trying to figure out how much the member would pay for 22 gallons of gas. So I plug 22 in for X. Y minus 10 equals 3 times 22 minus. I get Y minus 10 equals 51, Y is 61, which means the member would pay $61 for 22 gallons of gas. Again, this is important, and this is important at the end here. Number 11, X is skaters, Y is cost. I've got 2 points. I've got 10,107 and 15,137. I find my slope to be 6. Again, either point can be used. I just use the first one. Y minus 107 equals 6 times X minus 10. You plug 12 in there, you end up with 129. So 12 skaters would cost $129. So with that said, it is now your time to do some practice. Take care. Have a fantastic day.